Dear friends, I'm here, speaking after many, many years, and I'm surprised myself that I'm actually sitting here today. I have a lot to say. I'm not sure how to say it. First of all, I just want you to know that I'm not here to preach. I'm not here to tell you what to think. I've never believed in that. I just, at best, may want to share some ideas with you. Invite you to consider a few things that have been on my mind for many years. And I want to invite you to join in something that I think is going to be really exciting. And perhaps you might find it that way yourself. Let me begin with some of the things on my mind that have led me to this realization, led me to several realizations. I've been spending many, many years engaged in deep awareness. Some of you may be aware of my work with my brother Satyam on Born on the Mountaintop, which was the beginning of many, many exciting things for me and humbling discoveries, and in many cases realizing how little I know about life and how much there is to know and how little I know about myself. After, particularly in the past year, I've been really, really gripping with my appreciation of how limited conscious thought is. What I mean by that, how limited the thinking, limited what we think we know is. So that small little realm, which often we cling to, of our known ideas about ourselves and the world, is so limited and so distorting, in the sense that it represents such a small portion of what there is to know. And if we keep clinging to that limited information, we really limit our possibilities as people, and limit our possibilities in terms of healing ourselves and healing the planet, which I won't deny is of concern to me, and has led me to speak today. I'm excited. I may talk about problems. I may talk about challenges, if you will, if you want to put a positive spin to that word, problem. But ultimately, I come here because I'm really excited. I'm excited because I've always believed in the limitless possibilities of humankind. And I actually see now how it's possible and how it's actually already happening, that we can reclaim what I would call the lost kingdom of our own minds. And that's what I want to talk about, particularly, is the mind. The limitations that we cling to, they don't have to be that way. And what I want to introduce and lead myself into is this whole concept that I've stumbled upon, of what I call the slow thought movement. And that's what I'm excited to share with you. I want to be part, and I'm inviting you as well to be part of this slow thought movement. Now, don't be deluded by the word slow thought. When I use the word slow thought, I'm not talking about something in the negative, being a slow thinker. It all leads to a realization of what I call we're living in a fast thought society. So let's look at the opposite extreme, the fast thought that we engage in on a daily basis. I use the analogy, I guess the example of fast food, which is probably the best way to understand fast thought. Fast food is something we consume, many of us, some of us don't, I don't, I try to avoid it like the plague, but we often end up sometimes consuming fast food as a lifestyle, or as something we just do because it's convenient in the moment. And fast food, most of us would conclude, is not very healthy. It's junk food. It probably has limited nutritional value, maybe even toxic in many cases to the human body, and yet we may consume it because it's fast, hence the word fast food. It's easy, it's convenient, it takes a little time, it can fit into a fast-paced lifestyle that many of us have, where we're always on the move. Well, fast thought is no different. Okay, fast thought is thought that we consume. that often most of our thoughts, and this is something that really struck me when I started to do an inventory of my own thinking, is that most of my thoughts are borrowed. They're secondhand. And that's not a very flattering thing to think of. And I know I was actually very resistant of that discovery. But it is true for me, and I found it's true for most people, is that the thinking that we do, the thinking that's very private, right here in our heads, we think, oh, well, I'm the one thinking this. Somebody asks, what do you think? Well, you go, well, I think this. But the thinking that we're doing is often borrowed. Either we've taken it from our, the buzzword of conditioning. Conditioning. What does conditioning mean? It seems like, somebody's doing something to us. That is actually the influences of our environment that affect us on a deep, deep level from childhood. Parental influence, environmental influence, school, caregivers, primary caregivers, our culture, our friends, on and on, the news, the media. All of these things shape our idea of what the world is, how the world is, how we are, how we should be. And all of these ideas that we immediately make intrinsic to our personality have been borrowed. And that's fast thought. It's easy, it's convenient, but it's very detrimental. And that's where the slow thought movement comes into place, which I want to invite you to become part of, and hopefully we can work together to learn together and share together and begin to slowly reclaim, or maybe swiftly, who knows, reclaim our minds. Why is this important? Why would I even bother? Why should you bother? Well, if you're not doing your thinking for you, where are you? Where are you? You're moving through life, and thoughts govern your actions, thoughts govern your feelings, thoughts govern much of what you do, much of what you will do. And if those thoughts, are not yours, or not coming from the vitality of your own life experiences, are you having your own experiences? Are you becoming, or are you just becoming a mere spectator of your own life? Have you relinquished your power? And I feel we have. Until we start to slow things down. What I mean by slow, it's not about speed here. It's about awareness. It's about drawing our attention to what's going on. So it's not about speed. It's not about slow and fast in the traditional sense. But it's about drawing our awareness to ourselves, to our life, to the world, to our own self, and being able to catch those thoughts that we just pawn off as our own, but are not our own. And that's the work that's to be done. There's a lot of layers to this. There's a lot more to this. And I'm sure you have your own wonderful insights if this connects to you, of course. So